सौरभस्य स्तनयं ततश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोर्रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. In the previous lecture, we discussed about tamas. Before that, we were looking at light and trying to understand light. Now we are trying to understand darkness. We were trying to understand darkness and we saw a number of things. We saw that there is sattva guna, rajo guna and tamo guna, among which tamo guna one that is attributed with inactivity and evil. We also saw that as per Vishishtadvaitha, darkness is seen as an entity. It is seen as something that exists. How science does not accept. Will science accept that darkness exists? Black color means something is the remaining colors are absorbed. Okay, black hole exists, but black hole is not darkness. Darkness is a property of the black hole. We are very clear here. The guni possesses the guna. We have seen this before when discussing dravya and guna. There we have seen. So how can you say that tamas also has dravyatva? Science might say it is simply the absence of light in the context of the physical darkness. But we say, look, we are not talking here from the scientific perspective. This is philosophy. And in our philosophy, we have the theory of karma. Now, this theory of karma does not find any place in science. Science cannot establish the theory of karma. It cannot verify, it cannot validate, it cannot do anything. And as per the theory of karma, any kind of knowledge that you get is because you have the ability to get knowledge. The very fact, just a minute. The very fact that whatever knowledge you get is because you have the ability to get knowledge. How do you get the ability? The ability itself is a karma phala. You did something good at some point of time in your previous life, because of which you are not born as a plant. You are not born as some microorganism. You are born as a complex organism with well-developed indriyas, with what we call as six senses. You have the ability to see, hear, taste, so many things, right? And the way we perceive is far superior to the way in which animals perceive. The way animals perceive is still superior to the way in which plants perceive. How do we explain this difference? We explain this difference with the theory of karma. We did enough punya to be born as humans. They did not do enough punya to be born as humans. Therefore, they are the lower creatures of lesser intelligence and lesser capabilities. Now, if you say that despite having the facility to see, you are unable to see something, what does that imply? That again implies the effect of karma. Because of karma, you are not able to see. There are times when you see, there are times when you do not see. The famous Raju Sarpanyaya. You look at a rope and you think it is a snake. Why do you think it is a snake? Because of some papa karma that prevents you from seeing the truth. That the truth is just a rope there. Instead of the rope, you are assuming that it is a snake and suddenly you are getting afraid. So that fear that you get due to the wrong perception and fear are both effects of papa karma. Therefore, it is our own papa karma that manifests itself in the form of perception of darkness, which implies non-perception of things around us, which leads to ignorance. Therefore, as darkness is having an effect, if light gives punya, light, it does not give punya, it gives punya karma phala, right? It helps punya karma phala to manifest. If light is not there, we should think, okay, punya karma phala is not manifesting. Why should we think that papa karma phala is manifesting? What is making that happen? That papa karma phala is being driven by darkness as the medium. And therefore, tamas is having an ontological role. Therefore, we say it exists. Likewise, if we see, I'm not sure if I mentioned in the previous lecture, when we see the Shri Bhashya, Bhagavad Ramanuja would mention that even the experiences that you have in dreams, they are real. What do you mean that they are real? I was there in a palace singing, dancing with 5 different kings of 5 different countries that don't even exist. There were some aliens also in my dream, but you're saying the experience is real? No, no. Whatever event happened there, that is not real. But you felt happy, you felt sad, you felt scared, whatever feelings you had in the dream, they are also manifestations of karma. Therefore, dreams are also a way, dreams that happen when we have a REM sleep, rapid eye movement phase of sleep. It is not deep sleep. The dreams, we perceive things there that might not be real, but based on what we perceive, we react and we get feelings of happiness or sadness and things like that. As it is giving you karma, you should believe that that experience is also real. This is how we speak in philosophy. So we should be a little careful. Oh, this is so unscientific. Anybody might say this is so unscientific. Well, we don't have to be scientific. We are not against science here. We are accepting whatever science says. But this is beyond the realm of science. When you get into the concept of Atma, you get out of science automatically. No matter which school of philosophy you belong to. So today, let us discuss about existence itself to some extent, and after that, move on to Indriyas. Existence as we know it, how do we understand existence? Hmm? Existence means what? Something exists. That's it. If something is a dravya, it exists. That's all, no? No, we don't take it just that much. We just saw that we say even darkness exists. We call darkness also as a dravya. In this manner, we would be able to call a few more things as existing. But what does it mean to exist? As per Vishishtadvaitha, it is very simple. There are only 3 types of entities: Chit, Achit, Ishvara. Chit means the Jiva, the Jivatma. Achit means Jada, the non living thing. Ishvara means the Supreme Being, Paramatma. It is that simple. All the 3 of them always exist. We have discussed this before. We are just going through it again quickly. All these 3 always exist. What do you mean all these 3 always exist? Didn't you say Bhagavan created? Do you know something? The Vedas declare that Bhagavan created the world. He is the protector of the world and he is the destroyer of the world. But Guess what? Advaita also rejects it. Vishishtadvaita also seems to reject it. How does Advaita reject creation? Advaita says nothing ever happened. All of that is ajnana. Atma is nirguna. It is void of attributes. This is the Advaita. When I say Advaita, I imply the Advaita of Shankara Bhagavad Pada. So, Bhagavad Pada said, Atma alone is there, others are not there. There is no space, there is no time, therefore there was no creation. This is Paramartha, this is the absolute truth. That is how you should understand it. Vishishtadvaita says, all of these three were always existing. That means whatever you see also existed. It existed. That's it. Now, somebody might ask, oh, are you trying to imply that Advaita and Vishishtadvaita are both anti-Vedic? Because the Vedas have said Bhagavan has created. They have called him as the creator. And you are saying he never created. What logic is this? Advaita says, no, all of that happened within the realm of illusion. That is the answer taken by Advaita. What route does Vishishtadvaita take? Vishishtadvaita does not have that luxury of juggling between Vyavahara and Paramartha. It exists. It is very clear. Which realm of existence? Vishishtadvaita does not get into that. Then how do you explain creation? Creation is explained as transformation. Let us try to understand this in slightly greater detail. The Charvakas, the Charvakas who never ever accepted the scripture, and plenty of them never accepted logical reasoning. As and when they would want to justify themselves, they would suddenly put forth some reasoning. This is the way they were living since long. They have been condemned by Vedavyasa himself. They have been condemned by Shankara Bhagavad Pada, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, everybody. Today somehow they are celebrated. Oh, they were also Indians. That was also a school of thought. Anything and anything. If you see that way, Hiranyakashipu also had his own school of thought in which he was Paramatma. Will we accept him? So the Charvakas, one of their beliefs was that the Karya coming out of Karana is an impossibility. I remember we spoke about the Kshanikavadi Bauddhas before. Bauddhas, among the Bauddhas, those who talked about Kshanikavadas, and among them specifically the Vaibhashikas and Sautrantikas, we were talking about them and we discussed about how they explain existence and new existence. Take the example of fire. A single flame of fire runs out of existence, but another flame of fire very quickly replaces it, and you think there is a single fire when you light a candle. In the same way, everything gets created at every instant. This is what their particular school said. We saw about it already. Now we are looking at the Charvakas. The Charvakas are arguing that saying effect comes from cause itself is illogical. That itself is wrong. How can you say that effect comes from cause? Hmm? See, before some entity exists, there is some other form of it, right? Let us try to understand Karana and Karya with an example. We have discussed about Karana before, right? Nimitta Karana, Upadana Karana, and so on. Here, we are referring to Upadana Karana. So, as an example, we can take clay as Karana. Karya is pot, the clay pot. Now, before the pot is made, does the pot exist or not? A pot, before it is made by the potter, does it exist before it is made or does it not exist? What sort of question is this? This is so childish. It does not exist. Let us consider both possibilities. If it exists, then it means it was never created. It was already there. The pot was already there. That pot has only remained the pot. What was then made? Nothing was made. So you cannot say that it was already there. If you say it is not there, before the pot was made, the pot was not there. If you say that way, then the Charvakas are arguing. Listen carefully. They are saying, you cannot create it. How can you create something that doesn't exist? Is it possible to create something that doesn't exist? The pot doesn't exist right now. Therefore, can I create the pot? It is impossible. Therefore, just like how you cannot create a rabbit horn, just like how you cannot create a lotus that is floating in the sky, you cannot create a pot either. Therefore, you cannot say that it existed before, and you cannot say that it did not exist before. What sort of twisted argument is this? Okay, let us ask another question. The cause of whichever item is going to come into existence, does it create something that is attached to it? Or does it create something that is totally different? If it has already been attached, then again, it is only separating. It means it is not being created. If it was never attached, then you are saying something that was not attached, like Y, which was not attached to X, has been created by X. Then I can say there are plenty of other things also that are not attached. From clay, why should only pot come? I will argue that from clay, clothes can also come. Pot was not attached to clay, pot came. Clothes are not attached to clay. Then let me argue that clothes will also come. This is the kind of reasoning presented by the Charvakar, as well recorded by our Purvacharyas. I do hope you understand the argument. They are saying pot was never attached to clay, no? If you say it was attached, it means it was never created. If you say it was not attached, then I will say even clothes are not attached to clay. Why don't you accept that clothes are getting created by clay? They are coming from clay. A third argument was presented by them. They said, okay, something that exists, it comes into existence, right? It is created, right? Does the creation have a creation or not? The pot has a creation, you said. Now I'm asking about the creation. You said everything, every karya has a karana. No, now you explain. What does the creation get created or not? If the creation gets created, it means there will be an infinite loop. Creation will get created. That creation will create another creation. That creation will create another creation. Creation will create another creation, another creation, another creation. Like that, creation on itself will go in an endless loop. Remember, we are not talking about creation of a specific entity. We are talking about creation itself. We are talking about Utpatti itself. So, We are not talking about a created entity. We are talking about creation itself. Can creation ever be created? If creation can be created and it is created, creation is created from what? It should be created from some other creation only. From something that has not been created, nothing can be created. You can create something only from something that has already been created. Therefore, creation is created by creation. Now, this new creation that has been created, that will create another creation, that will create another creation. It will keep on going forever, no? Very great argument they gave. And they said, this leads to an endless wrong imagination. Obviously, you cannot have that loop going on. If you say creation does not have a creation, then creation itself never comes into being. If creation never comes into being, you should either say nothing gets created or nothing exists, or you should say creation exists forever. Now, if you say creation exists forever, then nothing will ever get created. Creation stops after the created entity comes, right? There is creation of pot from clay. Once the pot is created, there is no creation of that pot, right? That creation is complete. But if you say, no, creation is eternal, are you saying that the pot is always being created, like how India is always a developing country, never a developed country? Are you saying it is always going to be created? You cannot argue that way also. So if creation is eternal, then it will not be able, you will not be able to get any entity. The Karya Vastu itself will never exist. Therefore, whatever you are saying, oh, every Karya has a Karana, that is totally illogical. Three great logical points they presented. So great. My mind gets confused when I think about the level of logical reasoning there. But the answer to it is quite simple. See, the same Charvakas, when they get hungry, they eat food. When they want to win in a debate, they indulge in reasoning. So whenever they seek something, when they seek to end hunger, they eat. When they seek to win an argument, they debate. In all those places, they automatically accept the existence of a karana. There is a karana and there is a karya. There is food, as a result of which my stomach gets filled. Right? There is logical reasoning, as a result of which I am winning a debate. So, if you don't believe that any karana exists anywhere, you should not do anything. You should not come and debate. You should not eat. You should not breathe. You should not do anything. So, in this way, a very short answer is presented in Tattva Mukta Kalapa. A much more detailed analysis is done in Sarvartha Siddhi by Swami Deshika. But we are not getting to Sarvartha Siddhi now. We are just going through Tattva Mukta Kalapa here and there to understand Vishishtadvaitha better. So, some people argue. They say, look, there are many things for which we don't even know what the Karana is. What caused this? We don't know. When we don't know the karana, where we know, we can say, okay, this clay pot came from clay, we can say. When we see something which we don't even know what it came from, how can we assume? We cannot assume. Can we reason that since there are many items for which we don't know what the cause is, there could also be some items that do not have any cause at all, and things spring out of existence without a cause? In this way, some people ask. The answer to that is, let us take the same examples. Let us take pot and the cloth. These kinds of items, they don't exist forever. They did not exist in the past. They don't exist in the future. They exist for a certain period of time, right? Now, they are therefore demarked in terms of time of creation and time of destruction. This pot was created 2000 years ago. The archaeologist dug it and took it up. Then a boy came running without seeing. He hit the pot. The pot fell down and got destroyed. So there is a time of creation 2000 years ago. And there is a time of destruction also, 2025 AD. So here, since we know that there is a time of creation and time of destruction, that which defines this can only be the karana. That is, as long as there is thread, you can knit and create cloth. When do you say that a cloth stops existing? Hmm? The time limit, the time of creation of cloth was decided by the thread from which it was made. We called it a thread. Then, after knitting, it became cloth. So, what decided that it is becoming cloth? There it is thread only. In the same way, for every karya, there is karana. Before it came into existence, it was in some other state of existence, which is why we call it differently. What is the difference between thread and cloth? Shankara Bhagavad Pada says, there is gold and there is gold ornament. You say there is gold bracelet. You say there is gold helmet. There is gold crown. There is, I don't know, maybe today gold watch, whatever. You are saying so many things are there. They are all gold only, no? Gold is becoming gold necklace. Gold is becoming golden crown. Gold has remained gold. But you call one as crown, you call another as bracelet, you call another as something else. How do you understand this? So the material cause, when it was not there in this specific form with these specific functions, like for example, the pot has a very specific form and it has a function. It can contain water and other items. When those properties come, you call it a pot. When those properties do not come, you do not call it a pot. You can even create a helmet from clay, but you will not call the helmet as a pot, right? So we give it names based on the shape and the functions. So then some people said, you know, abhava is of many types. Pragabhava is one of them. Prak means before. Abhava means non-existence. The previous non-existence is only the actual cause of the existence of any entity. Why can't we say so? Before it came into existence, there was no existence. Then that should only be the cause, no? No. What is Pragabhava? The non-existence in the past of an entity that is existing today is called Pragabhava. It cannot create by itself. It itself is non-existence. How can non-existence result in existence? It is not possible. If it can, then remember, when did non-existence of any item start? One potter makes a pot in 2025. Before the pot was made, there was Pragabhava of that pot, prior non-existence of that pot. When did this prior non-existence begin? Do you know? It existed at Anadikala, t equal to minus infinity. The pot came into existence only today. So yesterday, day before yesterday, previous year, previous yuga, previous manvantara, previous kalpa, previous brahma, you keep going. It was not there, no? So Pragabhava has existed since forever. But suddenly, in 2025, on 8th April, it decided to create a pot. How is that possible? That is not possible. So, as it is of the property of having continuous eternal existence until the point of time of creation, we should understand that the entity that is created, which has properties and which has a form, as I said, it has bhava and it has rupa. Such an entity can only be caused by another entity which also has some kind of form and some kind of properties. A formless entity cannot create a form, and a propertyless entity cannot create an entity that has properties. Therefore, you cannot say that the prior non-existence is what caused creation. If something is there today with some specific property and specific form, it is some round form and it has the property of containing water, that pot, you cannot say non-existence of that pot only created this pot. Something else with some form and some property has only been the cause. That clay has only been the cause. This has been established. These are very important to understand the reason why in Vishishtadvaitha we say there are three tattvas and all the three are eternal. We have to answer two questions today. How Chit Achit Ishvara? Ishvara being eternal is not a big deal. What about Jivatma? Why do you call it eternal? Oh, that has also been declared, no, in Veda and Bhagavad Gita and so on. How do you know about the Atma? Only through Veda and your Shastras. But what about Jada? What about Achit? Achit is also eternal. In that way, Vishishtadvaita has said. Then they say, no, no, you are interpreting incorrectly. How can you say so? Then how can you accept? How can we say that the creator of everything never created anything? So on one side, we have to logically establish the eternity. And on the other side, we have to show how it is consistent with the Shastras. That is what we are trying to do today. So for anything to exist, before that, something else would have existed which has created it. And that something else would have also had some form and some properties if this new thing also has some form and some properties. Remember, we are talking about Upadana Karana, the raw material source for creation. We are not talking about Nimitta Karana. Nimitta Karana, that potter, he is a human. We are not looking at him right now. So then the question is asked. Some entity, if it exists for eternity, if it exists forever, then you need not say it had a Karana because it exists since forever, no? So an entity that exists forever, we would say that by definition, it has existed since forever. And therefore, by definition, it does not have any karana. In the same way, if for a short period of time or a specific period of time, something exists, we can say the same thing. Something that exists for infinite period of time doesn't have a cause. Something that exists for a limited period of time, why should it have a cause? They are just attacking from different routes. See, if you say there is no need, if you say there is no cause for having a pot or for having a piece of cloth, then the only possible explanation should be that the pot is eternally existing or that the cloth is eternally existing. Or there is a third possibility that it never existed and does not exist now also. Whatever is there forever, there are certain entities. Akasha is accepted as being eternal. We accept. You take the rabbit horn or that floating lotus in the sky. They never existed. So for those two, you can say there is no material cause. It's fine. But if you talk about clothes, if you talk about pots, if you talk about normal items, they do not belong to either of these categories. They are existing, but for a small period of time. So whatever exists for a small period of time can come into existence only if there is a karana, if there is a source of creation. A bigger question will come. Oh, if Akasha is eternal, then did Bhagavan not create it? But we are answering an even bigger question. We are saying everything existed before. Therefore, we will explain that. So they said, do you know the meaning of the word Swabhava? It is the innate nature. So it is the fundamental property of this pot to exist only for a specific period of time. That is its very nature. Instead of accepting it as a fundamental nature, you are saying, no, 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 existing for a specific period of time means that there was a karana for this karya. The answer is given as follows. Okay, but why is it existing only for a specific period of time? You are saying this is a fundamental property, no? Why is this property there? A cloth, a piece of cloth, would exist only for some period of time. We all accept. But that period of time will start only after the thread has been taken and you have done all the knitting and created that piece of cloth. So, although it is existing only for a temporary period, from when to when is it existing? It is existing from the time the Karana Vastu has started transforming. So, why does the cloth not exist before you start knitting? You always get the cloth only after you start stitching, knitting, all of that. So you have to understand that the start of existence itself is defined by the Karana. So whatever defines the starting point of an entity, that source material is called as the Karana of this resultant entity, that is called Karya. If you don't accept in this way, then at any point of time the cloth could come into existence by itself. It can exist forever. You can argue that cloth also exists forever. That would be very illogical. Why don't you see that happening? Because there is a Karana. Okay. So much about Karana. Now you tell. You are saying that Achit has existed eternally. The Advaiti has already answered. We have seen. The Advaiti also said that there is no creation. But when the Advaiti was asked, he said that never happened. Whatever is mentioned as creation in the Veda, that is in the realm of illusion, realm of avidya, realm of ajnana. That is why it is like that. Advaiti has answered. Single sentence answer and he has come out. Now the Vishishtadvaiti has to answer the same question. You are saying Achit is eternal, but Veda says Bhagavan is the creator. Now how are you going to answer that? We say creation in reality implies transformation. Creation, what does creation really mean? Creation means that we are in reality getting into one specific type of existence that is defined by some properties. The thread had some properties. The cloth has some different properties. Correct? So when it starts consistently showing a different set of properties, you say the cloth has been created. You say the pot has been created. So before it was the pot, it was the clay. Before it was the clay, it would have been something else. There has been transformation consistently. The nama and the rupa have been consistently changing. But all of these came from Mula Prakriti. These are all transformations. That transformation is only called creation. We say Bhagavan creates you. Where did you get created from? Huh? People argue, oh, your body, how does it get built? It gets built by eating food. Food comes from the earth. You are saying somebody somewhere in Vaikuntha, Kailasha, wherever you like, that fellow created. How could a God ever exist and how could he ever create? No, no. The body is just a transformation. If it is a transformation, then you are agreeing that Bhagavan never created. We say it is creation because we got a usable body. I say Bhagavan created me. What do I imply? I imply that he gave my Jivatma a usable body and in such and such a shape born to such and such a mother, living such and such a life on such and such a planet in such and such a location, all of that. That is what I mean when I say I got created. When I say the universe got created also, I imply a transformation. So what is the ultimate Karana? We very boldly declare by citing the Puranas, Narayana Param Brahma Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the Karana of all the Karanas. We very boldly declare by citing the scripture. He is the Karana of all the Karanas. No, where is the Karya? No, Karya means transformation of Karana. How? Has he himself transformed? No, he has not transformed. His Sharira has transformed in its properties. Then how do you understand him? We have said this before. Sukshma Chidachit Vishishta Brahma Eva Jagat Karanam. That Parabrahman, Sukshma, in a very, very microscopic kind of a form, all the Jivatmas and all of the Jada, all of them were there in a very, very, very infinitesimally small piece of space, small area of space. That was blown up and made huge. That Sukshma was made Sthula by Bhagavan. That is what we call as creation. Now we are suddenly sounding very scientific. Eh? Science also says the same way about the creation of the universe. So, Bhagavan was there. And everything other than Bhagavan is his Sharira. This has been declared by the Vedas. So he was there and he is still there. The Shariri, Paramatma, he has not transformed himself. His Sharira, from Sukshma Sthiti, it has become Sthula. From an infinitesimally small, it has become big. And it has changed in its properties. Therefore, that Mula Prakriti became Mahat, Ahankara, this, that, we saw all of that. Eventually, Panchabhutas come. Through the Panchabhutas, various entities are created. So when we say created, we mean transformed. We saw how the Panchabhutas come, right? They also come by transformation only. And then by mixing Panchabhutas in specific proportions, in specific ways, you get all the entities that you see today, from the simplest to the most complex. That's all there is. Therefore, we are right in calling Bhagavan as the creator. But we define creation as changing the sthiti of his Sharira in a specific way. Therefore, we don't have a problem. We do not say that he creates something out of nothing. If we say that, yes, under his all-powerful nature, he should be able to create something out of nothing, no? This is another argument a lot of atheists use. You know, if God is almighty, it means he has all the powers? Yes. You will say yes. Then they will ask, does he have the ability to destroy himself? You will say, yes, he has, because he has all abilities. No, you will think yes, and you will say yes. Then they will ask, prove it. How will you prove? This is their this is their tactic. So, does he have the ability to create somebody who is equal to himself? Does he have the ability to create somebody superior to himself? Does he have the ability to create something that never ever existed? You try saying yes to any of these questions, the atheist will trap you in an instant. So, we call him Sarva Shaktishali. But where do we call him Sarva Shaktishali? That should be understood. It is like asking if he is if he has all the abilities, can he open a door that is already fully open without closing it? No, you will have to admit that he cannot. He cannot. It is a fact. Why? Because the question itself is absurd. It is not Bhagavan's inability. The problem is not with Bhagavan, the problem is with the question. The question is illogical and it is presented in a way that makes it seem logical. Opening of a door is something that can be defined only for a closed door. Where its definition itself does not hold, there you will present the question and then ask. Then how will it work? We have said everything has a karana. Therefore, the atheist will ask. Therefore, Bhagavan should also have a karana, no? If everything has a cause, what is the cause of Bhagavan? Who created Bhagavan? We say everything that is not eternal has a cause. Bhagavan is eternal, therefore he does not have a cause. Then maybe after listening to this class, they will say, oh, you said Akasha is also there, no? Eternally. No, you tell me about Akasha. No. That was explained in a different way, in a different context. Don't get confused. If you are to say that something is eternal, if it has existed since forever, and if it is not Bhagavan, let us take an example. Let us take the example of Shri Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, as per us, is eternal. Vaikuntha is eternal. That means Bhagavan did not create Vaikuntha. We say, yes, he did not create Vaikuntha, but he created Vaikuntha. The Jivatma, he never created the Jivatma. Who are you? I am Jivatma. Did he create you? Yes, he created me. We say yes and no both here. Why? When I say yes, I refer to transformation. When I say no, I imply that I did not come into existence as Jivatma because of Bhagavan. What about Vaikuntha then? At some point of time, he would have created, no? Yes. How? By transformation. Vaikuntha is also having its own elements. They are all of Shuddha Sattva nature. But they were also set in such and such a specific way. Vaikuntha is also described in the scriptures, how it is inside, how the experiences, so many things are described. Who decided all of that? He only decided all of that. It is by his will that all of it exists as it is. It is by his will that all of us are existing the way we are existing. Everything is subject to his will. His will takes precedence to everything else. So even something that is eternal, which is technically not him, which is his Sharira, even that is that only because of his will. If he changes his will tomorrow, it will also change. But we don't see it changing. No, that is because he is not changing his will. That is all there is. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So creation, why was everything created? He willed that creation should happen, therefore it was created. What do you mean by creation? Transformation. What was there before you were created? Something else was there. My Atma is eternal. My body was in some other form. That form was in some other form before that. Before that, it was in yet some other form. In that way, it was there. Since forever, it has been there. If it has been there since forever, how do you use the word creation? No, we are saying creation means transformation. If you're saying it has always been there, what is his role? His will is what made things the way they are. That is his role. Therefore, we do not deny him. We still call him the creator. We still call him the preserver because he is preserving the properties and making sustenance happen, right? And When things finally transform again, we will say he is the one who is destroying. This is how existence, coming to existence and leaving out of existence, is explained in Vishishtadvaitha. Maybe we went too much into theory today. If the class was very heavy or something like that, please let me know. I will tone it down the way we usually do.
Swami, I have a doubt.
Mhm.
Okay, when we say that, when scripture say that Rudra destroys the creation,
Hmm.
so you said that Bhagavan is the Paramakarana why this Srishti is getting destroyed. So it is because of the will of Bhagavan Rudra is destroying.
It is Bhagavan only
Is
who
that
destroys. No, who destroys? Bhagavan only destroys. Who is the Antaryami of Rudra? Paramatma. See,
Bhagavan?
the same scriptures which say Rudra is the destroyer, Vishnu is the preserver, Brahma is the creator, also declare that the same Bhagavan is only creator, preserver, destroyer. Even if you accept Shiva as Paramatma, you will have to then say Shiva is also the creator. If you call Shiva as Paramatma, you will have to say Shiva is creator, preserver, destroyer. If you say Vishnu is Paramatma, you will have to say Vishnu is creator, preserver, destroyer. Remember this. Paramatma is doing. Others are not doing it for him as agents. He is only doing through them. A Venerable Acharya once asked a question. It blew my mind. He asked, when you write something, the result, the karya is known, right? Some ink in some shape. Let us say you're writing in English, some word. Now that word appears on the paper. That is the effect. Now, what is the cause of it? Is it the ink? Is it the nib of the pen? Is it the pen? Is it your hand? Is it your entire body? Is it your mind? Is it your jivatma? Is it paramatma? What will you say? What is the cause? All of them. But in which way? The nib by itself will not do. The ink by itself will not do. My hand by itself will not do. My mind by itself will not do. My body by itself will not do. My jiva also by itself, it cannot do anything. It is only by the grace of Bhagavan that it is doing. He is the one who is operating me as Antaryami. I do not realize it. Okay, I gave the answer very quickly. So you operate with his will. That is all. He operates through you. Who is the operator? Ask the question this way. Are you the operator or is he the operator through you? He is the ultimate operator. He is the one who made even you operative. He is the one who is operating through you. Therefore, is it clear?
Swami, how do we explain the free will here?
Previous
Free will.
free will. Free will has been explained 1,000 times in these classes. I will
And I mean, I
explain.
was not present at
I
this
will
topic. So,
explain in the next class. Save it for the next class. It is very
okay.
simple. There is some amount of free will. That's all. You can decide certain things. Can you decide which parents you are born to? You cannot decide. You can call anybody your parent, but they will not become your actual mother and father. No. Free will means what? It can operate only in certain places, certain ways. That's all. There is free will. It is limited. What is it limited by? Your own karma. That's all. We don't say there is no free will. We say there is free will. We have free will because Bhagavan is Parama Karunika. He is supremely compassionate. Oh, if he gave
Under,
free will and if people are doing sins, does it not mean that he only allowed the sins to happen? He gave you free will and he told you to be good. Now you are not being good, don't put the blame on him. The water, the rainwater, As it falls on the ground, different plants come up. One plant will grow into an apple tree. One plant will grow into a mango tree. One will just grow into ordinary grass. Why? Because the seeds are different. You cannot blame the rain for that. The rain allowed you to grow. That's all. Get it?
Yes, Swami.
Any other question?
Swami, even the Ishtadevata is not like entirely free will, Swami, because in Jyotish also it is said that we are inclined to a certain form of Bhagavan. So we cannot, that also it's like because of our past
Or are you
karmas.
teaching?
I mean, for the free will kind of thing, even in choice of Ishtadevata, it's not completely free will, I think, Swami.
Are you asking, is there a question there? Or are you ending it with a full stop or is there a question mark?
It's like a question mark, I think, Swami.
What is
Is
the
it
question?
so, Swami? Is it so, Swami?
I told you already, your level of free will depends on your karma. If you have done so much papa
Mhm.
karma, you would be born as a person who does not believe in Bhagavan. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahuranishwaram. Read the shloka starting from there in Bhagavad Gita. You will know.
Mhm.
Those kinds of worst people, those people of Asura Swabhava, who who think in a very wrong way and who do things in wrong way and who argue against the existence of Bhagavan also. They care only about themselves their entire lives. Those kinds of some people are like that since childhood itself. Look at Duryodhana. When he was born itself, wolves started howling, so many bad omens came. Why did it happen? Because of his past karma. That's all. So your past karma has to be good. We have discussed all of that also. For getting proper bhakti, you need to for getting sustained bhakti, you need sadhana saptakam. For getting proper moksha, you need acharya sambandha. For getting acharya sambandha, you need six things. ईश्वरस्य च सौहार्दं यदृच्छा सुकृतं तथा विष्णुकटाक्षमद्वेषं सम्भाषणं च सात्विकैः sorry आभिमुख्यं च सात्विकैः सम्भाषणं षडेतानि ह्याचार्य प्राप्तिहेतवः. We have discussed all of these in the previous classes. Okay. So there Vishnoho kataksham is coming. How will you get his kataksha? That is Jayamana kataksha. That also depends on your karma only. He will not come and give random people. If he gives random people, then he will be accused of being biased. Everything happens for a reason. Bhagavan is 100% fair. He is compassionate, but he is also fair. Anything else? Therefore, Duryodhana did not worship Krishna despite seeing him right in front of him. Why? Because of his past karma that blinded him.
It is
Yes.
also said that he was a partial Amsha of Kali, Swami. I don't know whether it's true or not.
So what? If he is a partial Amsha of Kali, so what? Why is that Kali evil? That is also because of karma only.
Swami, one interesting thing I've noticed where I live in Odisha is I've seen people name their kids Duryodhan, Dusasan, and
I think that is irrelevant to Vishishtadvaitha.
mhm. Yes, Swami. So,
There is a question in the chat box.
But they name their kids as Duryodhana, Dushasana, and so on.
yes, Swami, where I'm working as a doctor, na Swami, they have seen like many patients with the name. I wonder, even Brahmins also, Swami, Odia Brahmins, I have seen them there, like Duryodhan Tripathi and all. Got like confused.
That you go
Like,
and ask him and figure out. He
yes,
has,
Swami.
we keep only names of
Yes,
Vishnu
Swami.
and Sri Vaishnavism.
Mhm.
for males and names of Lakshmi to women. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if you have anything else related to the topic of Vishishtadvaita, please feel free to ask.
Swami, as you said, Bhagavan Sharira transforms, but Bhagavan
Bhagavan
doesn't
transforms
transform.
his Sharira.
Sorry?
Bhagavan transforms his Sharira.
Okay. And Bhagavan Sharira are different, huh?
What have I been saying about Vishishtadvaita since forever? Chit is different from Achit. Achit is different from Ishvara. Chit, Achit, Ishvara. These are the three tattvas. That is
Yes.
the fundamental difference between Vishishtadvaita and Advaita. Advaita says there is a single Atma, there is nothing else. Vishishtadvaita says there is a single Chidachit Vishishta Atma, there is nothing else. That is why it is Vishishtadvaita. That word Vishishta plus Advaita gives Vishishtadvaita. But what is the non-difference in Vishishtadvaita? Where do you see the non-difference after saying Bhagavan is different from you? You say there is Sharira Shariri Sambandha. You are his Sharira. So along with the Sharira, that Shariri is there. No, he alone is there. He alone is the Jagat Karana. That way.
Swami, can you
Understood.
please tell about Sadhana Saptakam that you told Swami, where I can read?
Long chapter. We will go there later.
Okay, sir.
If Rudraji is still on the call, he might remember. Anything else? Sadhana Saptakam, it is 7 points. It will take 10-15 minutes to explain. It is presented in Jignasadhikarana in Shri Bhashya. It is not something that was developed by Bhagavad Ramanuja. It has been stated by very, very ancient Purvacharyas, but it is cited and explained by Bhagavad Ramanuja.
Guruji, Shri Bhashya is about Lakshmi Devi.
No. Shri Bhashya is called Shri Bhashya because Saraswati Devi named it so. But it is not about Lakshmi Devi. It is about, you could say it is about Lakshmi Devi, but it is basically a commentary on the Brahma Sutras.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Adi Shankaracharyas, that is Shankara Bhagavad Pada, Shankara Brahma Sutra Bhashya, is simply called Brahma Sutra Bhashya. And Bhagavad Ramanuja's Bhashya is called Shri Bhashya because Saraswati Devi named it as Shri Bhashya.
Okay,
He
sir.
presented it to her in Kashmir to get her blessings. So she was relieved of her headache of misinterpretation. You see the Sri Bhashya, you will understand. Very, very extensively he would have written. Super long, he would have written. Why? Because to the maximum extent possible, you should refute and clarify the teachings of the Vedas. Vedas were there. Vedavyasa compiled all of them. Still, lots of people had doubts. So many people were against the Vedas even in those days. Some people accepted the Vedas partially. Some people said we accept fully, but they interpreted in different ways. Some other people were willing to listen to whatever Vyasa said, but they had genuine doubts. Therefore, Vedavyasa clarified them by sitting under a Badari Vriksha along with his Shishyas. He started creating sutras to clarify. So in some sutras, you might see Jaimini disagreeing with Vyasa. We interpret it as Jaimini just pretending to disagree with Vyasa by asking a question from the opponent's side. Jaimini was Vyasa's Shishya. The modern narrative is that Jaimini himself disagreed with Vyasa. That is the greatness of Sanatani tradition. No. Shishya, if he disobeyed Vyasa and Vyasa is Vishnu, that means Jaimini is wrong. Jaimini cancel. We don't say that. We say Jaimini school is correct, Vyasa school is correct, and they are consistent with each other. Jaimini pretended to ask in a different way so that Vyasa could reply. That is how it went. So, anyway, so on those Brahma Sutras, Shankara Bhagavad Pada composed a commentary which teaches Advaita philosophy. Of course, most of his works will teach Advaita, unless they are stotras. Some stotras might not teach Advaita, but most of his big works, they will teach Advaita only. Likewise, most of the works of Bhagavad Ramanuja would teach Vishishtadvaita. Bhagavad Ramanuja composed Shri Bhashya. But on Vedanta Sutras, there are 3 commentaries created by Bhagavad Ramanuja. There is Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepa, Shri Bhashya. 3 are there. So anyway, that is about it. Let us conclude today's class here. Thank you all so much for attending.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Manu.
Let me see if there is anything on chat. There is something on chat also. How to remember Bhagavan all the time? Because on weekdays I forget a little and weekends I remember. I have seen the question. It is off topic. How do you remember him? Set a practice, maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Create a practice or do a small ritual. Maybe you just light a diya, maybe you just say some shloka, maybe you just look at his picture and pray for a minute, whatever. Set some small practice and do it every day. Create a discipline. Creating a discipline is the best way to start thinking about him every day. Once you start thinking about him at least once every day, you will be able to expand it further. Create a discipline. Okay, it is not very difficult. Maybe you can set an alarm or something, or set a reminder. Pray. You pray for just 30 seconds. That is still prayer only. You can start small. Nothing wrong. Okay. Thank you for attending. All right. Kavtarpi Smile Shrimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Guru